Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Friday, February 19, 2021. BBC report. Ferret becomes first North American endangered species to be cloned. The birth of the ferret, named Elizabeth Ann, was announced by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The cloning is a first for a U.S. endangered species. Once thought to be extinct, all black-footed ferrets are descended from 7 ancestors that were found in 1981. Scientists say the clone will help increase the population's gene pool. Elizabeth Ann's birth on 10 December was announced as a bold step forward by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service (USFWS) on Thursday.
CNN report. Caught in a vaccine no man's land, these European countries are scrambling for Chinese and Russian shots. As the United Kingdom celebrates giving at least one dose of the coronavirus vaccine to 15 million people and the EU surpasses 23 million doses distributed, several other European countries have not yet managed to put a single shot in arms. Kosovo, Montenegro, and Bosnia and Herzegovina are still waiting to receive their first vaccine shipments, while rollouts in Albania and Northern Macedonia have so far been limited to a few hundred people.
Al Jazeera report. Vaccine nationalism. Why hoarding COVID jabs may prolong pandemic. As the coronavirus continues to spread around the world, with new, more infectious variants complicating responses to outbreaks, governments are racing to roll out vaccinations. With more than 57 million vaccine doses administered, the United States is leading the way in the total number of shots administered, followed by China and the European Union. The United Arab Emirates and Israel have administered at least one dose to the highest proportion of their populations, 81% and 54% respectively.
Deutsche Welle report. Denmark restricts its border with Germany. Denmark is partially and temporarily closing its border with Germany from Friday night to stop the spread of coronavirus cases, a Danish minister announced on Friday. The closures follow a cluster outbreak in the German town of Flensburg that sits close to the border with the Scandinavian country. Therefore, we are now introducing considerably more intense border checks and closing a number of smaller border crossings along the Danish-German border, Danish Justice Minister Nick Hækkerup said in a statement on the ministry's website.
BBC report. America is back, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. In his first international interview, Mr. Blinken stressed the importance of worldwide vaccination against COVID-19. He also criticized China for its lack of transparency in uncovering how the coronavirus emerged. It marks a break with the America First policy of Donald Trump. Mr. Blinken was speaking as the leaders of the G7 richest industrialized nations met in virtual session. The U.S. is giving $4 billion £2.
Al Jazeera report. Fed pledges continued support for U.S. economy amid pandemic woes. Federal Reserve actions will continue to bolster the U.S. economy as it battles the COVID-19 pandemic, the central bank said Friday in its twice-yearly update to Congress. Monetary policy will continue to deliver powerful support to the economy until the recovery is complete, the Fed said. The report was published on its website ahead of Chair Jerome Powell's testimony before the Senate Banking Committee on Tuesday and the House Financial Services panel a day later.
Fox report. California school board president resigns after caught mocking parents supporting school reopenings. A California school board member has resigned after she appeared to make comments during a public video meeting mocking parents calling to reopen schools. Oakley Union Elementary School District Superintendent Greg Hetrick confirmed former trustee board president Lisa Brizendini's resignation to Fox News. Hetrick issued an apology on Thursday for board members' truly inappropriate comments made during a virtual meeting on Wednesday after a group published a video of the meeting that appeared to show board members complaining about parents who want teachers to return to classrooms.
Fox report. ByteDance whistleblower sounds alarm on China's mass censorship. For many years, there has long been a debate about whether Chinese-owned tech companies are controlled by the Chinese Communist Party (CCP), and whether they have undue influence over consumers in the U.S. and elsewhere. Now a whistleblower has spoken out alleging the parent company of TikTok is beholden to the CCP. The allegations stem from an employee of ByteDance, who has alleged that he was told to often delete content related to the COVID-19 outbreak in its earliest days, as well as other content that was deemed controversial by the Chinese state.
Al Jazeera report. At Biden's G7 debut, leaders focus on COVID recovery. Group of 7 leaders, who control a little under half of the world's economy, on Friday sought to look beyond the COVID-19 pandemic towards rebuilding their battered economies. U.S. President Joe Biden and Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi debuted at the G7 virtual leaders meeting, which was chaired by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The leaders called for stronger defenses against a future pandemic, including exploring a global health treaty. But the focus was on a green recovery, on the same day that the United States rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement.
CNN report. There's an uptick in migrants crossing into the U.S., driven by economic woes and hopes for change under Biden. The Respite Center for Migrants in McAllen, Texas, used to be a nightclub, now it's a shelter run by Catholic Charities. Where there used to be rows of liquor, there's now toiletries and diapers. Small children play on the floor. Colorful drawings hang from the blacked-out windows. This center has become a haven of activity in recent weeks, as more and more families have crossed the Rio Grande River from Mexico seeking asylum in the United States.
CNN report. What you need to know about the Paris Climate Agreement now that the U.S. has rejoined. The United States on Friday officially rejoined the Paris Agreement, a landmark global climate accord, fulfilling a campaign promise President Joe Biden initiated on his first day in office. What is the Paris Agreement? An international agreement among nearly 200 nations to combat climate change. Participants are committed to keep global warming below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and, if possible, below 1.
Fox report. Gun-waving robber holds up TV reporter, crew while filming in Ecuador. A TV reporter and his crew were robbed while filming in Ecuador, with their footage capturing the shocking moment the armed robber pointed a handgun straight at them. Soccer reporter Diego Ordinola shared video of the brazen gun-waving crook pouncing Friday afternoon as the DirecTV Sports crew filmed outside the Estadio Monumental Stadium in Tarqui, Guayaquil. Telephone. The armed robber shouted, pointing a handgun straight at Ordinola and swiping away the microphone he was using.
Deutsche Welle report. Hanau shooting. Steinmeier condemns hatred and division. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, along with other top officials, held an event on Friday commemorating the victims of a racist shooting in the city of Hanau, exactly 1 year since the attack took place. The attack, which targeted migrants of Middle Eastern and Asian descent at 2 shisha bars in the city near Frankfurt, left 9 people dead, and shone a fierce spotlight on far-right extremism in Germany.
CNN report. UK Supreme Court rules that Uber drivers are workers, not independent contractors. Uber is reviewing how it treats thousands of drivers in the United Kingdom after the Supreme Court upheld a ruling that they should be classified as workers and not independent contractors. The unanimous decision could deliver a major blow to the company's business model in one of its most important markets, and opens the door for drivers to claim the minimum wage and paid time off, legal experts said.
Fox report. Texas power grid restored after devastating winter storm causes power outages and shortages. Austin, Texas. AP. Texas's grid operators said Friday that the electrical system has returned to normal for the first time since a winter storm knocked out power to more than 4 million customers. Smaller outages still remained Friday. But Bill McNeese, president of the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, says the grid again has enough capacity to provide power throughout the entire grid. As electricity and heat returned to Texas homes, water problems remained as cities continued boil water notices and repaired broken pipes and water mains.
Deutsche Welle report. UK spy agency MI6 says sorry for LGBT+ ban. The head of MI6, the UK's Foreign Intelligence Service, apologised on Friday for the way it treated gay people in the past. Richard Moore, known as C, released a video on his personal Twitter account to say sorry for the treatment of LGBT+ individuals. Moore, a long-serving British diplomat, is a former UK ambassador to Turkey. Britain decriminalised same-sex relationships in 1967. But UK intelligence agencies, including M16, kept a ban in place until 1991.
BBC report. Shigofatso Pule murder. Man jailed for killing pregnant 28-year-old. The body of 28-year-old Shigofatso Pule was found hanging from a tree last June, with multiple stab wounds. Mazikes Malafon, 31, pleaded guilty at a court in Johannesburg. He has accused her ex-boyfriend of paying him to carry out the killing. Police say a man is now in custody. In a plea agreement read out in court by his lawyer, Malafon said he had been offered £7,340, $480 by the ex-boyfriend to carry out the killing but had declined.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.